That's recording, right?
We're recording
We're
on the
recording.
air.
I'm going to cut this part off though. Okay. So, welcome to our second social sciences coffee break chat for lunch. I'm Paul Rombo, learned social sciences consultant, and we'll be joined by my colleague Stacy and Allen, also social sciences, RÉCIT, and elementary level specialist. Remember, these coffee breaks are casual, regular space to briefly share a few resources and technologies. We're going to share a couple specific tools that are available on our Learn site, and then we're going to shut the recording off. We're recording now, and you're welcome to share anything you found or ask questions. This is also a question session. So we're going to start. And Stacy, you want to show what you got?
Wonderful. So for today's elementary resource, I selected these vocabulary games because when we're teaching geography, history, and citizenship, we often come across vocabulary terms that might be new for students and that have to be explicitly taught or practiced, like fertile or demographic. These are all really large words that sometimes students in grade 3 to grade 6 might have difficulty with. So what we have here are interactive games that students can use to practice the key vocabulary and concepts that they come across in different sections of the social science program. And again, the reason for the creation of these games is really for that explicit teaching and practice related to vocabulary. Because if students don't know the basic definitions of terms that they might come across in documents, it's going to be really hard for them to understand and analyze that document to learn about its historical significance and to apply the intellectual operations. And these games are designed for elementary students in cycle 2 and 3. So I'm going to click here on the Where button to show you where these are located on our social science website, the Societies and Territories at learnquebec.ca. And this is a direct link, but if you can't find, if you're just visiting our site on your own, you'll find these under teacher resources and resources by type. Okay. So if I scroll down here, I'm going to explore the Inca around 1500. You'll see that the resource is directly embedded in the site, so you could send it to students using a QR code or via the link. All of these games are bilingual, so I'm here on English. If I click on French, it's going to narrate the terms in French. Okay, I don't know if I shared my sound, but here you can go. You can click on the terms, so climate, and then you can click on a definition. You see, it's a very quick way for students to get feedback about their knowledge of definitions. And now these were created with Canva Code, which is one of my favorite new tools for teachers. All teachers can get a free teacher's education license for Canva. So if you're interested in creating games like this for your classroom, you can check out canvacode.com. When you get to Canva, you can click Code for Me, and it works a lot like any large language model insofar, oh, my internet's slow, here is that you can describe your idea. So my prompt was, I want an interactive vocabulary game for students in grade 3 using these terms and these definitions. And then that is how I created those games. So I encourage you to explore Canva Code. And if you have any questions, reach out. Paul, let's go into the secondary resource for today.
Wow, that's really great. I'm going to try to share my screen here. Let's go. Can you see that?
Wonderful.
Great. Okay, mine's quite different. But it's also a tool that students can use to help scaffold their learning. Basically, what I want to show today is a resource done with Genially. What it is it's several presentations on the social sciences techniques. Genially presentation in sort of a how-to style. But there's also a blank version that students could copy and use themselves. So why? Well, why it's a step-by-step instructions for analyzing images. Analyzing images and documents is really crucial to the history and social sciences programs in general, even geography, where students have to sort of have a certain amount of understanding of what makes up an image, how to read them, the author, and so on. This is for secondary teachers, the presentation, but because we use the Genially tool, um, hello, because I use the Genially tool, I noticed that I could edit out some of the instructions and some of the actual images, and I could make a tool for students as well. So I want to show you where that is. Stacy had previously showed the elementary history site. I'm going to show the history and Quebec citizenship secondary site. And the toolkit is an area, well, remember from last week, these are different time periods and different sections, but the toolkit is a separate section and it has various presentations and guides. For example, these are on the competency one and competency two. And down below, there's the intellectual operations. This section is on the social sciences techniques. So you've got things like how to interpret a map, how to interpret a timeline, a graph. But students are always interpreting images and actively doing so. So this one I thought I'd show today because I found it quite useful for students to actually use themselves. This is what the instructions or the presentation for the teacher would look like. So it goes over how there's different kinds of images. It goes over what they look like, and there's some different advice on each different type of graphic or visual. But it also says it gives techniques on how to analyze image, like identify the intention of the image originally, and go through the five W's or four W's here, who created, when, where, and what for each image. You can see a structure developing, right? Understanding the document, who are the actors, when it happened, where it's taking place, and so on. So, and then there's just sometimes when the student wants to just note interesting elements, depending on the question they were asked. And in the last section, it points out that you're always answering a question. So this question was about the economic reality of Quebec. And there's an answer about how the photograph itself shows the extent of the timber industry at the time. So I thought this was a great tool for presenting one of the techniques, as they all are, but I wanted to make a blank version so that students could use it. And the student version looks like this. You can write their name here, and they would be able to edit this. Note at the bottom, reuse the Genially, and they can insert their own image. And so they can create a presentation with the same structure that the teacher would have used. Who, when, where, and what. And they put the image in or do a second page for another image. And understanding the document. And they have a space here just to put other images, other interesting elements that they found that based on their question, and a space to delete this section and write the original question with their explanation of what the image tells you. Um, this this sort of tool reminds me a lot of ThingLink as another tool that the students can use to analyze images, and even Google Draw can also be used. There's some examples, like for example, on the First World War section of the site, there's a bunch of images where students analyze them using Google Draw, but that could have been done in Genially or ThingLink. So that's my share for today. And we're done the sharing session. We're going to stop the recording.